So, there were some Oscar nominations yesterday, and here we are to discuss those nominations and kind of what we thought of them, what they were. Did we think they were dumb, or did we think they made sense? And the man with a lot of opinions about this is sitting right here next to me, and that is our expert here, Christian. And we'll find out what they did incorrectly.
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I have my two friends here. It's great. Everything is well. I would like to just take a moment of silence for the snubbing of Ariana Grande, whose original song for Don't Look Up was the only thing I would have nominated for that film. Okay. Anyways, so what did we all think of the nominations? Because I think you'd be surprised at how I feel.
Yeah, I get the vibe that you don't mind it that much, but at the same time, there were definitely some certain categories where I was like, what the heck happened here? But some of those movies that I haven't necessarily seen yet, because there's like 10 or so that I still need to watch.
I kind of felt the same way. I thought all the nominations were there were some surprises and some snubs, but mostly all of it, I was surprised at how many of the films I had seen and how few that were nominated that I hadn't seen, and so that was nice that I don't have much work to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. I listened to the it's always awkward, announcements yesterday from Leslie Jordan and Tracee Ellis Ross, it's 5 a.m, we're tired, they always do the same spiel. Going into it, I was really dreading the Best Picture nominees, because I know you can have up to 10, and I thought there were going to be at least 3 where I was like, but instead there was only 2, and there was one pleasant surprise. And then in terms of acting, there were some where I was like, oh, and there were moments where I was like, oh, and then it was just kind of all over the place. But I don't know, I don't think it's that bad. It's not like a Bohemian Rhapsody for Best Picture kind of bad, which was horrible. Don't get me on that. I think if they were trying to pull in viewership, well, they fucking failed. I mean, honest to God, they did not fucking succeed. I don't think it's like a bad list of movies. Back in the day, such as when Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated, I used to think of it as, it has to be a 9 or a 10 in order to get Best Picture, but I'm a little more sober these days and slightly nicer, and I accept an 8. And there are some good 8s. There's even one I haven't even seen yet. Yeah, no, I don't think it's that bad. We'll start with Best Adapted Screenplay, which I didn't think anything was too shocking. The Lost Daughter, Coda, Dune, The Power of the Dog, and Drive My Car. I'll get to my thoughts on Coda later.
Is it adapted screenplay? Is it all in Braille? Is that why it got nominated?
Maybe.
No, that's not why it got nominated.
Yeah. Zola has a better script than all of those. Feel free to at me. Movie was worthy of about 6 other nominations, but I digress.
That movie it was a big snub.
It was.
That movie
not
was
even
great.
In the conversation. It's a movie based on a Twitter thread, and it's 80 minutes of just joy and anxiety, and I loved it.
And some of it is pure dialogue from the exact Twitter thread. It's great.
It's incredible.
You could have gave that woman that did the Twitter thread also partial credit on the adapted screenplay.
Yeah. I was happy to see Maggie Gyllenhaal get nominated for The Lost Daughter, which I also think was more worthy than 2 of those 3 aforementioned so-so movies.
Win the Best Picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I really liked that movie.
Yeah,
I think it was good.
I would have preferred that in the 10.
I don't really know about that one necessarily for screenplay, but it is nice that Maggie Gyllenhaal gets a nod that way through the Best Adapted Screenplay category, where that she couldn't necessarily be involved in the Best Director race because we had a lot of big names, and they're only allowed to nominate 1 woman a year because that's the rule.
Hey, last year there was 2.
Oh, you didn't know the rules? Dune definitely should be put in for Best Adapted Screenplay. I've heard a couple things where it's like, well, why is it a screenplay? But it's literally the whole point of Dune is that it's this unadaptable novel, and I know it's only part 1, but he visually put it all on screen, and that starts with the screenplay. So Yeah, I think it definitely deserves a nomination.
So for original screenplay, nominees were The Worst Person in the World, a surprise, I will say, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up, and King Richard.
King Richard, I thought was very well done. I could see some arguments where it's like maybe it was a little over the top here or there, but I think there's enough really good subtle moments in the movie too that I would credit the screenplay for a lot, and I know the performances are really good in it too, so not necessarily all the screenplay, but obviously the movie start with the screenplay.
And two of the actors were nominated, like two of the actors that deliver a lot of that screenplay.
Yeah, exactly. The acting is good. And the other one being Don't Look Up, which I'm not as negative on as a lot of people are, even though I know a lot of people are very positive on Don't Look Up.
I don't hate Don't Look Up, but it's just a movie.
Anyway,
Hey, it's the name of the show.
I do think it is done pretty well for what it is for the first hour and a half. Then it kind of deludes itself and goes a little bit too obvious in certain directions, which I think ends up alienating people from both sides. Which is because one side can see how ridiculous this movie is being, and the other side feels like, hey, they're making fun of me. So it kind of dives into that for the last 40 minutes, especially when at a certain point in the movie, which is the concert scene specifically, they could have very easily just ended it at the concert scene, and it would be hilarious if they're all sitting out here listening to Ariana Grande's concert, and she's doing her bare minimum, last minute effort trying to get people to wake up and sing her silly little Don't Look Up song. And if they all just died from an asteroid in that scene, I think the movie would have been hilarious, it would have been tight, and it would have been a nice ending, and it would have been kind of a reminiscent satire ending for stuff of old that is actually good and also rightly highly regarded. Where this one, it kind of keeps going because Adam McKay is trying to say all the stuff that he wants to say, when in reality you can get that from watching the first hour and 45 minutes of it. And it's not really a movie that deserves this last 40 minutes. And some people might think the last 40 minutes of it in how it's nice where they all go to dinner and that sort of thing. But you don't really need that because you can kind of get that from just Leonardo DiCaprio looking up into the stars and realizing, hey, I fucked up.
Let me correct you real quick. He's not saying it. He's mostly going, listen to me!
No.
Again, like I don't hate that movie. I think there were better screenplays that
like
could...
Licorice Pizza.
Oh, 100% they were better screenplays. So that's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think it's the worst written thing ever.
No.
But the last 30, 40 minutes is pretty badly written in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you. I was honestly on board with that movie for the first half. I was like, because I expected to loathe that movie. I really did not want to like it. And then the first hour I was like, okay, this is actually funny. And then it just keeps going.
Licorice Pizza was my favorite movie that came out in the last year, and so I think that screenplay should be a lock for PTA. But who knows? I think the King Richard one is also like a crowd favorite, and people are like, "Oh, it's great! It's got a great ending. It's kind of got a good, nice bow on it." Don't Look Up also has a lot of people. I'm kind of worried because there's a lot of critics that are like, "This is saying a lot," and I'm worried. I don't know. There's no way. There's no way they're gonna give it original screenplay. But if they give Adam McKay that screenplay over PTA, I'll lose it.
Look, the way I see it is Adam McKay could make Ass, the movie
Ass.
within the movie from Idiocracy, and it would get nominated for Best Picture. I'll just say it, Anchorman is his masterpiece. Anyways, in terms of Licorice Pizza, I think when it comes to Oscar Sunday, I was happy for PTA getting his 9th, 10th, and 11th nominations. Dang.
when Trevor was talking, I was thinking, yeah, that makes sense, Trevor. That's before you got the Don't Look Up stuff, and I was like, they'll give PTA Best Original Screenplay because he doesn't have one. Yeah, this is probably just, hey, PTA, you deserve an Oscar. But then he started talking about Don't Look Up, and I'm like, yeah, they probably will give it to Don't Look Up.
I don't think so. I think this one is Kenneth Branagh PTA. Because both of them were nominated 3 times yesterday. And they both made movies that I think are pretty, some might disagree. A lot of people look at Belfast like it's like Green Book or something because it's like nice. I know, God for fucking bid. But I think both movies are kind of close in terms of like
the Belfast
enjoyment.
Screenplay.
Yeah, I really do too. So I think those two are really going for it.
Hope that's the fight.
Yeah, I hope it's not Don't Look Up.
Next, we're going to Best Director. Kenneth Branagh for Belfast. Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. I'm sorry. He is Japanese. I don't want to offend anybody. Drive My Car.
Wait.
Paul Thomas Anderson. And then my boy Steven Spielberg for Best Director.
A lot of competition in this category, so I get it. Denis Villeneuve. Or
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. Obviously, everyone is like, he should have been nominated, and I agree. But at the same time, I know it's a stacked category, but when I'm looking at it from the outside in, you could have left some of these names off, in my opinion. But I know everyone loves Steven Spielberg. I haven't seen West Side Story yet. I know it's magical time. But at the same time, it's like, does Steven Spielberg really need a 9th nomination for a remake of an Oscar? Okay, for an 8th nomination for a remake movie. PTA, I think, is you have to nominate Paul Thomas Anderson for this, I believe. I haven't seen Licorice Pizza, so should I be saying this? No. But when I look at the names, he probably should be having another Best Director nomination now based on the movies and the landscape that have come out this year.
The two main people are not actors, and so he directed them in this
That too,
big ass
exactly.
movie.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's
And he directed them really well.
Damn well.
Jane Campion, I feel like, deserves her nomination. Also, haven't seen her movie, so I know how stupid I sound discussing this. But
She does deserve it. You're right.
Kenneth Branagh, I know it makes sense for him to be nominated too, but at the same time, 2017, I feel like they did a really good job of having different kinds of filmmakers, and they were all just really good filmmakers, and they all were pretty much really good names too, so they probably just got lucky that year with how it all stacked up. Most of these are kind of older guys that have been nominated quite a bit that aren't necessarily at the top of their game right now. But, they both made really good movies this year, I understand. But at the same time, I kind of think it's more fun when you kind of nominate these still in the prime, kind of where I'm coming from. And I know Branagh has made a really personal film, and I'm sure it's very good. I haven't seen that one either. Right. Yeah, it's like really weird.
Death on the Nile?
Right, it's really weird. It's really weird how Belfast is sandwiched in between those two movies.
It's
And
fascinating.
like, I can understand the argument that, well, because this movie is so much better than his other movies, he deserves it for this. But also, I kind of feel like with directing, it's not, and this is dumb politic crap, but it's not really just the movie you put out this year they're being nominated for, as I take it. And I kind of enjoy that in a way. I kind of think that that's a cool thing. And I know Branagh and Spielberg work way more, so you could get into that too, where it's not fair for me to compare the two, and I understand that. But I just feel like while Branagh and Spielberg are both very good directors, and they did make really good movies for this year, I feel like they could have let him continue to build on his arc and give it to him. Maybe they're waiting for him to come out with something more to their taste, but I don't know.
It's gonna be a bit.
Probably, yeah. It's gonna make Dune again.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll make it up to him with Dune 2.
Yeah, it's like, now we've seen the whole story, so here's the best director.
And this is even better. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, I imagine it will be, but Dune was fantastic. But it
cool.
still leaves you wanting a little bit more because it's not the whole story, but just the way it's all set up, it's great. But
yeah. I honestly thought Kenneth Branagh was out. I didn't
Yeah.
really think there was much talk for this movie anymore. I thought it was one of those things, oh yeah, it's Best Picture. But then, and that's why I just predicted it, and I know that the Academy loves Spielberg, as do I, and I will say that America sequence did not direct itself. It was exhilarating. I gotta say. It is out of this fucking world. Anyways, so yeah, I was glad to see him in there, but I was also surprised by Denis Villeneuve, who, I don't love Dune, but there is no denying just how impressive that movie is. Like, I like it quite a bit. It's just, like, visually out of this world. I also knew that the Drive My Car dude was getting in, because for the last 3 years they have nominated a foreign filmmaker. In fact, Paul Papakovsky, who directed Cold War, he took Bradley Cooper's spot for A Star Is Born. And like they also nominate Bong Joon-ho and Thomas Vinberg for Another Round.
Honestly, if they did not nominate the guy who directed Drive My Car, I think a lot of people today would be saying, "Dude, where's Drive My Car?
Where's Drive My Car, dude?
Dude, what's your best director nominations list say? Doesn't have to Drive My Car. No, but what's mine say?
No, what's mine say?
You both are absolutely right. Now we're moving to Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees are Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, Judi Dench for Belfast, Kirsten Dunst for The Power of the Dog, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, and Anjanou Ellis for King Richard. Judi Dench was a surprise because she got Katrina Balfe's spot. I guess they were like, it's only one Belfast or another. Katrina Balfe has more of a role. It's kind of strange.
Personally, I felt that they only nominated Judi Dench from Belfast and not Katrina Balfe also. I feel like they did that because, you know, if they were to go to Belfast, people would just be far too furious. So I was...
Well played.
And now I guess she's like the oldest woman actress to be nominated, I think. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yes,
Okay. The omission of Katrina Balfe is kind of a bummer, but I will say the inclusion of Judi Dench is cool.
But everybody kind of knows at this point that Ariana DeBose is going to win for Best Supporting Actress. Like, that's a lock. And I feel like usually we know who's going to win every category before the show starts. But then you really don't sometimes. Because last year was very crazy, and we all know what happened. But for the extent, a lot of times these acting categories, you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely winning that. The acting ones are usually very easy to predict. But we'll see what the hell happens this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I got full Ariana DeBose stock. I am all in on her. And you know,
all the chips.
It's really unique because she's playing a character that has won an Oscar already. It's pretty cool. And
Yeah, also, what's her name? Has also got nominated for playing another character that someone else got nominated.
Jessie Buckley's.
Jessie Buckley's in it too.
Yeah, they both got nominated for the same character.
That's cool. Yeah,
Weird.
No, I love it. Next, we're going to Best Supporting Actor: Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog, Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos.
What?
And then Troy Kotzer for Coda. Oh, I hope I don't butcher this. Cairn Hines for Belfast. He's just
I think that's right, yeah.
I think that's right, yeah. If this category confirms anything, the Academy wholeheartedly hates Ben Affleck. Let's be honest here. As we recall, he was not nominated for Best Director for Argo, which was a load of crap. I mean,
That is unbelievable.
he was great twice this year in both The Last Duel and The Tender Bar, which I also don't really like. I thought he was wonderful in both of those movies, but
It's weird that he was funnier in the movie about the medieval rape than he was in The Tender Bar.
maybe in their minds they're like, oh, but he made Argo, and then there's that guy who's like, but you remember Gigli? Oh, okay, yeah. Reindeer Games, Armageddon. I'm sorry. Pearl Harbor. Alright, yeah, no, fuck it. I'm changing my vote.
I think they were like, he's already got his own golden little statue that he...
Is two?
No, I mean...
So they can't hate him that much.
He's probably going to be
Yes.
watching the Oscars with his own golden statue of a girlfriend that he has. So
True.
they're probably like, he's got too much. We're not nominated.
Uh-huh.
He's like, nope, no.
That's true. He's aged like
He's
a
winning
fine
too
wine,
much.
better than what I'm drinking, and he's got J-Lo on his side.
too much winning.
I love Jesse Plemons. I thought he was more Oscar-worthy in Game Night.
I think so too. I feel like everyone would agree.
I mean, everybody in that movie makes such an impact. I'm talking about the power of the dog now. Sorry, keep up.
I saw a good meme where someone showed the picture of Jesse Plemons holding the dog in the driveway, and they put the power of the dog.
That's really good. God, I love the internet. The power of the dog. Do you even remember that he's in it? The only reason why I think this nomination is cool is because of Kirsten Dunst, and they're a couple, and I love
cool.
it, and I love that she actually got her first nomination.
Yeah, apparently she's the one that got to tell him that he got it, and she was like screaming on the phone, and they were both so excited because they both got nominated. I'm like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, they're like the second married couple.
Yeah, and then Penelope and Javier were like, okay, we both got it again.
Yeah, exactly. I would say he's not exactly Oscar worthy. I'd also go the same with J.K. Simmons. I would have preferred if Jared Leto got in. I'm happy for Karen Hines and Cody Smith. I will also just say, since we're on the subject of both Jared Leto and Ben Affleck, both in very enjoyable, in my opinion, Ridley Scott movies, I would just say fuck the Razzies. That was dirty.
A lot of the acting nominations, the Best Supporting Actress was fine for me. I think that one made the most sense. Is it as many standout names? Maybe not. As far as these other three acting categories go, I had issues with these, and all of them really do stem from being with the Ricardos. J.K. Simmons was the most deserving of the being the Ricardos members nominated, which might be a crazy thing to say because I haven't seen a lot of people say that, but in honesty, when you just look at the performances,
That's true, yeah.
he gives the best performance of the three. I don't think he should have been nominated, even though I do think J.K. Simmons is great. But
where's your newsletter? I'm gonna subscribe. This is all good. I agree with all this.
I do too.
But yeah, I do think he was the best in it. But I still don't think he should be nominated. But I'm not upset as much as I am with the other two. But we'll get into that later. As far as my own personal list, granted, I haven't seen Belfast: Power of the Dog. Power of the Dog, I guarantee everybody keeps talking up Cody Smith McPhee's performance, so I guarantee he will be on.
He's got a lot.
It's so dumb because I know this category is Best Supporting Actor, but I literally almost there. I was like, is he a guy or a girl? But he's obviously in the Best Supporting Actor.
Pretty sure he played Paranorman, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, I've seen that name. Yeah. That's why I've seen the name, as dumb as that sounds. But yes, you were correct. Anyway.
Kind of looks like him too, it's weird.
So I guarantee he will be on my list. I think that there are a lot of performances that you could shed light on. One of my biggest issues with this is just the fact that the whole Academy just pretended like The Harder They Fall was not really good. Because it was. And a lot of it was about the amazing acting ensemble that they had. The Keith Stanfield, Delroy Lindo, and Idris Elba. Because I think they were all great. And they're all having fun, but also doing the correct things in the scenes and setting up the scenes that are not only set up well on their own, but as an acting triplet, whatever we say for a triplet, they all do a great job of getting you invested into this movie. It's weird that we kind of just have to nominate the person that's being up another person, and maybe they don't necessarily go over the top in this category necessarily specifically, but that is what being in the Ricardos stuff comes from, and it's not J.K. Simmons' fault, but that is ridiculous. You're allowed to say, okay, he had fun, and it was a great performance. You're allowed to do that, Oscars. You're allowed to.
You're allowed to have fun.
Yeah. Idris Elba has never been nominated for an Oscar, and I feel like you could have done it in the past, with nominations and stuff like that, but I realize a lot of that stems from the whole Netflix thing that everybody wasn't on board with yet. I feel like The Harder They Fall, you could have given it to him because he steals the scenes, every scene he's in this movie. He's just fantastic at the role that they let him play, and he 100% should have been nominated. And then also I had Adam Driver for The Last Duel, who I'm just an Adam Driver stan all the way. I think anything he does is fantastic, but I do think in The Last Duel he is really good in, and I do think that movie told an important story, and the way he goes about it and how they play with the perspectives. He takes advantage of that and really gives you a good performance that I think could have been recognized.